So this is a new Insta360 X5 8K 360-degree action camera. Hard to believe they're on the 5th variant X5. This, of course, is their flagship 360-degree camera featuring a dual 1/128 sensor, triple AI chip, which is actually helping in the low light performance, the ability to shoot first and frame later, which of course is the main advantage with this 360-degree action camera. They of course also have the invisible selfie stick. That's an effect that they've had for a while on previous generations. This eliminates the selfie stick from the frame when you're snowboarding, skiing, or doing your other action activities. And then they've got some tremendous flow state stabilization so that everything is watchable and doesn't make you feel sick. Now, if you're struggling in the shadows or you have a bright background, you can use their 5.7K 60 FPS active HDR video. You've got a new wind guard on the microphone for better wind rejection. You're waterproof up to 49 feet. And of course, they've got their AI-powered editing tools. Once you've got your footage, you can actually have it do the editing for you if you choose to, or you can do it yourself on their mobile app. This box contains the Essentials bundle, which includes a couple of accessories, and I've got a bunch of other accessories that we're gonna check out that are independent of the bundle, but some of them are pretty cool. Okay, so Essentials bundle is going to come with what? It looks like you get a selfie stick. This is a basic selfie stick. They also sell an extended version, which I'll show you in a moment, but this is good enough, lightweight, gives you a lot of reach. We've also got, our battery. And you can see the gasket around the battery door. It's going to be closed off to the elements and waterproof, as they say, up to 49 feet. There's also a couple slots in here for your micro SD. We have our paperwork. Ooh, cleaning stickers. It's for the grill, so you can, if there's little particles stuck in there, you can use these stickers to clean it out. They've also got style stickers if you want to rep Insta360. And then we have this carrying case for everything to fit inside. Is this external section for your selfie stick? It looks like it is. Wow. Ooh, look at that geometric pattern on the front of it. Feels robust. Here is your lens cover to protect those lenses. We got our power button, USB Type-C. We have our tripod thread for mounting, well, either to a tripod or to a selfie stick. And of course, we've got the display, which dominates the backside here. You can just tell the stabilization right away as soon as you turn it on. It's like gimbal-like stabilization. I don't even know if you can see that, Will, but that was 5.7K at 30 frames, and I apologize for the gash on my lip. That was a high stick that took place. That's 5 stitches later. It's actually looking a lot better recently. Talking about sports and extreme events, there's one of them right there. I wonder if the camera would have been fine if it got clipped by a high stick. Maybe the X5 would survive. But anyway, yeah, so you saw how quickly I was into shooting in the default mode there, 5.7K, 30 frames. I just hit one button, I was already rolling. There's a smaller case they've included as well, which is kind of nice. Here's your Type-C cable to charge it up, and then there's a cleaning cloth. So if you want to just carry the camera and maybe the cleaning cloth with you, you can just do this setup instead of the big hard case. Kind of nice to have options. And then here, this is what they call the standard lens guards. These are little dome pieces that fit over top of the glass lens to give you even better durability and protection. So that's kind of a nice addition, and I don't know which version they began including those, but they're in there now. And then when you pair that with the entire replacement lens kit, yeah, you've got a package that I guess you can kind of, well, keep it from getting destroyed in the first place, but then you can also repair it on your own. Now, some other accessories starting with the replacement lens kit. This is interesting. You're looking for a certain humidity level in the environment before you attempt this repair. Little suction cup on top of the lens, you see this? Wow, cool. And I presume this is the tool for removal of the existing lens. Yeah, look at that. This little guy, clamp on, unlock, put the new one on. Sweet. So that gives you a little bit of added peace of mind that if you are investing in this ecosystem, you don't have to be as concerned about your device. Like, there's a way to fix it without having to buy an entire new one. We've also got this. This is the foldable 2-in-1 selfie stick. Look at how tiny that thing gets when it's in its packed up format. It's also compatible with the mini remote if you want to use it as a tripod remotely and you're far away from it. First of all, it's got a great fit because obviously the format here is for the base of the X5. There's a little slot here if we want to use the remote, and then if we press the button, look how compact that gets. So we can leave it attached. It's a little bit faster to deploy. The whole thing is held together. It's now pocketable, and comparatively, like typically a selfie stick is longer than this to begin with, and then you've got the camera separate, so it's not like one little package deal. This one, I just pop it like that. Look at that, I'm ready to go. Wow, that's quick. Now, we've also got our bullet time selfie stick 2.0. This is for that crazy effect where you spin it around and it gives you that 360-degree matrix style effect. And the new one here has even more range than the previous one. You can see 65, 75 degrees or 90 degrees, 3 adjustable angles. This one feels robust. It's like a baton. Look at this. Whoa. Crazy. Crazy stuff. And then this is the big boy right here. This is the extended edition selfie stick. This thing's a monster. So this one is so long that in some circumstances it mimics a drone shot. I've seen people use this one along with like a car, like it making car footage, and it does actually seem like a follow cam. Look at this monster. Oh my goodness. And you might think this thing is gonna just be so heavy because it's so big, but it's not, because it's carbon and like it's just shockingly lightweight. It feels kind of like a carbon fiber hockey stick. Look at this. This is over Will's head right now, and he's far away. Holy moly. Show them against this white wall over here. Look at that, keeps going. Damn, that's some reach. So yeah, versatility, tons of options. I mean, you can get the essentials kit, or you can just piece together your own kit based on the accessories that you want. But ultimately, it comes down to the footage and what you can do with a 360 camera, and specifically the improvements that have been made on the X5. So let's go get some footage. So the first sample here is a mode called drone shot, and this is surprisingly convincing. Now, it's enabled by having this crazy long selfie stick, which allows you to get to heights that obviously you typically couldn't with an action camera. But then when you add in the stabilization and the gimbal-like movement, that's where it becomes more convincing as a drone shot, as the name implies. So you can get creative with this. You can obviously do low angle shots. High angle shots for me are the most convincing. This kind of simulates that pull away shot that you see frequently that people do with drones. Now obviously, you don't need any type of clearance to fly this thing. This is gonna be more convenient to use in situations where a drone would be far too conspicuous. Next up, we're looking at the pure video night mode, and this is the biggest difference from the previous generation. It's able to just sort of boost the available light, and there's not a lot of it in this particular shot. This is a park, there's a couple of lamp posts, and actually what you're gonna notice here on the left is the light is gonna go out in a moment, which actually gives you an even better example of the capabilities when you've got almost no light to work with. And then if you're dealing with a ton of contrast, like in this scenario where you have a subject in the foreground and you have the sun in the background, it's actually pretty good in HDR mode when dealing with highlights and shadows all at once. It's also got object tracking, so if you just kind of want to set it and forget it on a tripod or some other mount, but you want to make sure that it keeps you in frame, it's more than capable of doing so. You can see we've got a lot of available light to work with here, but it has no issue tracking Will's face as he moves around the frame. So you've got a bunch of different shooting modes to choose from. Now, of course, you don't need to use one of these. You could just set it up in 8K, let it shoot 360, and worry about your framing later. Now, another thing to mention, if you are a one-man show, you can trigger the recording and tracking via gestures or via voice. Another interesting input is something called twist to shoot, and you can see an example of how that works. So if you're using a longer selfie stick and you can't exactly reach, or you don't want to break it all down in order to reach the camera, you can simply twist the selfie stick and that will actually initiate a recording. Now the next example we're going to look at here, this is actually a clip that started out as an 8K full resolution video, but then via the editor, which is easy to use, it turns into a time lapse with a front-facing view, which is really wide, but it's not extremely distorted. So there's a number of options inside the editor. That's sort of the beauty of just shooting in 360, is figuring out your framing later on and then picking what's suitable depending on whatever action took place. And that's also where that extra resolution comes into play, because you're able to then crop into this variety of different finished products without losing all of your pixels. You've still got enough pixels left over to have something that looks good enough for social media, for YouTube, and so on. Now lastly, we have another example of indoor shooting under low light circumstances. If you can see in this rock climbing gym here, there's very little available light, yet you still end up with something that's usable, and we also get to admire Will's capabilities here. Look at this guy go. So there you have it, the new Insta360 X5, the newest iteration with incremental improvements. Like every single version that comes out, they just get smarter and better at figuring out what an action camera should be, what you should capture, improvements to the audio, obviously improvements to the durability with the replaceable lens system, which I haven't seen that before, and just an absolute boatload of accessories to add to it to make it ideal for whatever your shooting scenario happens to be. Anyway, if you want more information, check out the description. All the relevant links are down there.